Hi, everybody. My name is James Manford, and this is the second part of the social work. And this is about economics and political environment and empowerment that demonstrates examples of grassroots political organization, gender equality, civil rights, and social inclusion. How to social workers assist with the retribution of social power. And in my research, I have found a lot of interesting things that, and it's like a long-term perspective of 2020 and beyond needs to address some of the following trends which are likely to impact gender equality, social inclusion, and human rights. And one of them is ongoing environmental degradation that will have a strong impact on the poor and migration populations since they trend to. And conflict over scarce resource will become more common or as pollution pressure, local environment degradation, and global environment changes, in particular climate change. Population growth and fertility rates tend to be highest in poor countries and among poor people, particularly in rural areas and in rural communities. Having large numbers of children early in life increase virality and women lower percentage in childbirth and in child, therefore increased child mortality rates, poor education outcomes. Human rights flow like grown in volumes and become more distribution in growing numbers of people seeking refuge in today's emerging countries. That's why a lot of them come to the United States thinking of a better life and a better way because of the country that they in. Such flow creates misery or many migrants put pressure on weaker populations and hope. Latinos and like a lot of them come, they do less pay for or less money to get the work done, so they have something to eat, and they'll do whatever they need to do, because it's better than where they came from. And the growing importance of private sectors would change traditional models of state-led human rights instruments, as government will need to negotiate policy and business, civil, social, and other stockholders and people that that has the money, and the stockholders, and like with the jobs going to different countries to get their stuff done. When in here, where their country is poor because their people don't have no work and they're not making no money, so the poverty level is real high. Technology change offered, technology change offers new opportunity for delivery and social service and income opportunities for the poor. But it also changed the nature of jobs, increasing skills premium. That means, like far as like machines and factories and all that, that's all gone, and a lot of things going to like blue collar workers and little labor work, and that they have rarely, unless you're going to construction. So it's a lot of jobs that was there that the people was doing this overseas, and a lot of them like they folded, quit, and cut down, so they really don't have nothing to do. They have to change their skills and maybe even go to school or go to college if they can afford it, or go to a sort of CCAC or college like that, if they could, if they can get enrolled, and learn a skill which they was up to date and they can learn so they can provide so they could provide, a living for their family. The framework of human rights has not adequately addressed the issue raised above. While the main reason for failure concerns the nature of the framework, it depends on how it has been applied. Thus, framework itself consists of UN characters and treaty-based bodies. There's different countries, with their treaties and what they can import and export, it affects a whole lot of people too, because that takes a whole lot of jobs away. The overemphasis on civil and political rights has sued conscience away from the kind of issues that are concerns, and the political right has sued conscience away from the kind of issues and in terms of social inclusion. This has narrowed the human rights restriction diagnosis of human rights within states. For instance, while organizations such as Free Housing can provide relatively accurate pictures of issues of freedom of speech through its index. And that's like a lot of things, that you got to have this credit thing for housing. Then the housing is not as low income as it is. You still have to pay, and if you don't meet those requirements, then you won't be able to get the housing, and that causes a whole lot of poverty too. And the final process of human rights have placed overwhelming emphasis on international levels, while it is clear that major innovation and social service solutions are more likely to estimate a national level. And that's on the bigger scale, because it starts small with the companies closing down, and then it start going up the ladder, and then there's a lot of people losing their jobs, and the middle class is almost affected by it. So that means poverty is at a level, and it's just somebody doing just a little bit better than you. Overwhelming the over-reluctance of advocacy as a tool to regain rights, with the results of exclusion. Communities are likely to remain further away from the society political makers, and an over-focus on the individual rather than confronting social exclusion needed collective resolutions. And this is the research that I get, and these are the things that's happening all the way up to today. And there's just let's say pathway towards substantial development, in turn, ethnics and religions and language are further intentions in women, and with these communities and women as a category across all indicators, because women is being affected because they have families, they have kids, and they can't meet the needs to feed their family and their kids. And the job don't hire women as fast as they would hire a man, so it's really hard on women. Many developing countries have worked on picking persistent equality, undermining their existence. For example, China has sought to create administrative mechanics to enable the access of poverty of communities and millions. New Zealand has worked to create process undergoing historical violation, placing the substantial position of Pakistan, and Muslim influence through coalition, a form of power and sharing. And the list goes on to all these countries, of them doing, what they have. And at the end, it's the measurement of each of these in turn the false, nevertheless represents a departure from time-honored approach to human rights involving advocacy locked in battle with government. The UN Human Rights Council Universal Periodic reviews the demonstration that naming and shaming is not the only human rights tool available. Instead, the pooling of genuine administration experience in various contexts is much more likely to yield results. I'm sorry I went over a little bit, but that had to be said, and that's the end of it. And this is where this is going to all go to right now. And thank you.